Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this YouTube channel. You're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay, and we thank the Most High, even the I Am, for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, those of you who have been with us here and there's about, and those of you who have just subscribed, as well as those of you who are contemplating subscription. Like, share, and subscribe. Yes, we thank the Most High for you. Yes, we're in Isaiah chapter 56. Yes, chapter 56 of the book of Isaiah as you prepare. We thank God for you. And it's just amazing how when I look upon the different events that is happening in the world, it gives me a sort of awe. It's not about whether I'm going to run to this shelter or that shelter or whatever. It just gives me a point of awe in how the Most High is orchestrating even the final gathering of the children of Jacob. Yes, scattered, mixed, and everything, but the I Am is who, or the one that can do this. You say, well, they've been mixed with this race and that people and that color and whatever. God knows what he's doing. And if you ever follow the Bible, regardless of what DNA says, it's not about DNA, although that helps as far as identifying the fathers of children. That's the only thing it's good for. And also maybe some medicinal purposes. Yes. We see that even God gives us a clue of how he does it. Regardless of the woman, the seed of the man is what the Most High goes by. The seed of the man. The seed line. I mean, generally, they go by, the pagans, most paganistic religions go by the mother. But God goes by the father. He goes by who was the father of the child. Yes. And that determines whether that child be the seed of Jacob or the seed of Gentiles. And we give God the glory for that. And you have to keep that in the back of your mind. How would God sort his people out? The male, you cannot change, according to the Bible and the way the Bible situates it, you cannot change the genealogy of the male. No, you can't. Although his mothers might change, his father stays the same all the way up to Adam. It stays the same. And this is why you have so much war and men in the past going in and impregnating the women of other nations and tribes. And then they come with the psychological part of it also. But you notice most nations that have infiltrated other nations have done it through impregnating the women of the other nations, that they may have seed in that nation. Regardless of what the seed looks like or what color it is, they know that's their seed. This thing has always been. And we feminism try to pull it away. You got Egyptology and all these other belief systems. But God knows them that are his. That is the beautiful thing about the Most High. Isaiah chapter 56. Thus said the I Am, keep ye judgment and do justice. For my salvation is near to come and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hands from doing any evil. You notice we talk about the Sabbath in many of these videos, and the Sabbath is according to the nature of the Most High. You did not have the Gregorian calendar during the time of Moses. The Egyptian calendar was basically the same, but they decided to tell time by using the sundial. This was Egyptology. Yes, they were into that, okay? And it's recorded, but also is, should I say, the children of Jacob way of telling time and days and months and years are recorded too. It's in the book of Jubilees, which means 49 years. Now, the thing is, to reiterate this again, the Sabbath of the Most High is very important. The Sabbath of the Most High, if you read throughout the book of, should I say, Enoch, and the rest of the early books, they were written back then. They were only translated when people say they were translated. You have to watch the word play. People play any kind of, I can write a book now, but it can be translated into German later. And then we'll say, oh, men, well, they tampered with that. Yeah, they might have tampered with it, but it's not much. Only enough to where those who are not informed or have no education or understanding the language could not discern whether those things were false or true. But the fact is that keep the Sabbath from polluting it, verse 2, and keep his hand from doing any evil. Evil. What is opposed to another is evil. You have to realize the definition that the English have, and we take evil as to what the majority considers good against what the majority considers good, but it's not so. Evil. It is evil to commit adultery. It is evil to worship idols. It is evil because you do these things not only against your neighbor, but you also violate the commandments of the Most High as far as your reverence toward God. It's disrespect. When you worship idols, when you worship Jesus, when you worship all these other religions and gods and goddesses, it is disrespect. You diss God. You diss the I am. For in the first commandment he says, thou shalt have no other God before me. What you going to do with that, Christian? What the New Testament is going to do with that? This is why the New Testament is dismissed. No other gods before me. There are many instances in the New Testament where man have depicted this demigod to imitate God, and that men bow to him. Even in the book of Revelation, men bow to this demigod. He don't tell them to get up. I'm equal to you. No. He puts himself as equal to God. And also he says, all power given unto me in heaven and earth. Who are you? What are you saying? This Greek or this Egyptian infused demigod have come to our, should I say, belief system. And to make it even worse is that the books that, or should I say the letters that depict this demigod are attached to the books of the Almighty, which are according to his prophets and also his laws, which have no place with them at all. Now, he says now in verse 3, neither let the son of the stranger that had joined himself to the I am speak, saying, the I am have utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. Not only was this not good news, the good news is not Jesus. Good news is not that the Gentiles can receive salvation. That is nothing. That is really, it's no news at all. The good news is that this thing has been ever since the law. Thou shalt not oppress the stranger. Everything the Most High says about the stranger is contained in the books of Moses. It's there. The Most High did not ever cast away the Gentile nations. But if they would come through the law that Moses had given to the children of Israel, after all the other laws and books are lost, we have the law right here. So therefore, the Gentiles have never been cast out. If they keep the laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances, yes, the Gentile also will be counted among the children of Israel, except the Levites and in the congregation as far as the sanctuary. These things belong to the children of Jacob. Now he says, and it would take a humble Gentile to accept these things. Why? Because in the beginning, if you read in the book of Jubilees, how that the children of Noah, all of them rejected the way of the Most High except for Shem. And then it went on down even to Abram. All of them rejected eventually, but Shem kept the books, and you got down to Eber. This is where you get the word Hebrew. Read the story of Eber. But either way, all the way down to Shem. And Shem kept those things, and God first kept his covenant with Shem. Yes, the Most High did. The rest of them, the Most High turned them over to other spirits. And then it boiled down to the point where you got to Jacob. And still, the other nations were turned over to other spirits and doctrines and deities, as you would put them. Now, he says, neither let the eunuchs, behold, say, I am a dry tree. For thus said the I am unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths. That's what he says. And choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Now, was not even Job a Gentile? Job was not of the seed of Shem. He was of the seed of Shem, but he was not of Jacob. He was not of, he was of the seed of Esau. He said, for thus said the I am unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in mine house and with my walls a place and a name better than the sons and of daughters will I give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. This has ever been, but since the war, the Assyrian war, the Babylonians, and then the Persians, the eunuchs felt they had no place. Although they had a place before these things, with the kings that were reigning in Israel, of the seed of David. He said, and they shall not be cut off. He said, no, you're not. No. And also the sons of strangers that joined themselves unto the I am, to serve him and to love the name of the I am, to be his servants. Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taking hold of my covenant. Even after the flood, before the flood, the Most High instituted the Sabbath. You do your due diligence, study. He instituted the Sabbaths that mankind should keep these things. And it's really saying a lot. It's saying that God had created the heavens and the earth, that everything that we see before us and beyond, and the things that are inward, that are so tiny and minute. This is the wisdom and the intelligence of the Most High. Man cannot fathom it. Most things man cannot understand. It seems like man understands a lot by our standards. Yes, mankind has really delved, or it has been revealed to him many things. But he don't know the half, not even the fourth, because it is very intricate. This is the Creator's work. Now he says, now, the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the I Am, to serve him, to love the name of the I Am, to be his servant, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh hold of my covenant. There's no problem of discussing the scriptures among Jews, or should I say, the children of Jacob and Gentiles. No, coming into your places where you want to discuss and read the scriptures is good. That every man might know that there is only one law for everyone, even the stranger. And that law is the commandments, statutes, ordinances, even laws of the Most High. Yes. It always have been. Since the beginning, since the time of coming out of Egypt, there were strangers, there were Gentiles with the children of Israel. Yes, or Jacob. Now he says, now, even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, for mine house shall be called the house of prayer. Does that sound like Christianity, who says the law is done away with? No, it's not. That's not Christianity. That's not even gospel. So, out with the gospel. Because this is good news that at the time of Zerubbabel and all the rest of them, Esther, Ezra, and Nehemiah, these things were important. And they started practicing the laws again just before the Most High gave them the deliverance by appearing in a dream, or an angel of the Most High appeared in the dream to King Cyrus. And so what had happened was, once that had come about, I believe it was Xerxes, son of King Cyrus, decided to let the children of Jacob go. It was another exodus, a smaller one, but another exodus back to Jerusalem, the land that was of their father, even Shem. See, you ask yourself, well, why? See, you have to realize the land of Israel is that you see now. Before 1948, there were many people of dark brown hue there, all over the land, but they were all ran out eventually. But the fact was, they were there. There's documentary film and everything all over the place, really, not just Jerusalem. That's not Jerusalem, really. That is another place. That's more northern than it is southern. But either way, that's what they say, them vote. It's amazing how everybody goes to Telerad. Not everybody, but many goes to Telerad, unto that desolate temple there. It's a blessing, yes. You do your research, your due diligence. But either way, he says, even the eunuchs and the Gentiles that keep my Sabbaths, he says, their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar, for my house shall be called the house of prayer for all people. In other words, the sacrifices is just, it's just like a prayer. You have to really pay attention to the sacrifices of the Most High. And if we ever can sacrifice again, it will go. No man's blood is accepted with God. No. The only blood that God heard was the blood of Abel, whom Cain slew. That's it. God didn't hear no blood of no Jesus. You're being like this Molech, should I say, and putting that in the proper reference. This is what you're doing. Your blood being shed, drinking blood. Then you got these two preachers again, as I said, that was on national television, just their blood, mixing their blood and drinking each other's blood mixed and mingled. That was very wicked, very, should I say, occultic. It would make you think that Christianity is occultic. See, this is why I say Christians, they don't get it, but they're making up anything combined with the law. You can't make up the law. You submit to the law. You don't compromise with the law, you submit to it. And when you submit, then the Most High will bless you even the more. All else, the world, there are rich people in the world. There are people that are saved from different things in the world. It's just common practice. The Most High does have mercy. And we go to verse 8. He says, now the I am which gathered out the outcasts of Israel, yet I will gather others to him besides those that I gathered to him. Yes, he's saying they're going to come because they're going to see God does deliver his people. Yet all ye beasts of the fields, come devour. Ye all ye beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, lying down, loving slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs that can never have enough. He's talking about clergy as we understand it today. But he's talking about those that were given to reading of Scripture and giving the Scripture to the people. Basically, most of them were Levites, yes, that were confused with bribes and just despairing of their lives. They will turn. Now, and they are shepherds. They cannot understand, and they all look to their way. In other words, what seems right to them. This is why I say you cannot compromise with the law. The law is just the law, period. If you cannot keep it, it's because many of you are, as far as the sacrificial law, you are in captivity. You are among the Gentiles. You cannot take sacrifice or pork chop. I'm not going to go that far. You cannot you go and take a pigeon, which is a dove, and you go sacrifice them. You're going to have law all over you in this country here. I don't know about any other country. But the pigeon is an edible creature. It is a dove. They become white, black, gray, whatever you want to call them. Not crow. Now, they can be eaten and sacrificed unto the Most High. But this is the way of the heathen that have chosen the idolatrous way to keep you from really getting deep into this thing. Yes, sacrifices are good. This is why you had the scarcity of cows and lambs and sheep. But when God began to multiply those sacrificial animals, then we know the time is near and is at hand. Then he will cleanse the sons of Levi, and then they will be identified and brought to do their due diligence. He says his watchmen are blind and they are ignorant and they're all dumb. Dogs, they cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs which never can have enough. Well, Christianity shows they are worse even than these people. Look at your different preachers who can do anything against the law and get away with it. In your Christian churches, your Protestant and Catholic churches, they get away with anything. They agree with anything as long as it fills their coffers in their pockets. And they are shepherds that cannot understand, and they all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. Come ye, they say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drinks, and tomorrow shall be as today and much more abundant. Yes, and people take that because they count them as holy. But when what is holy is contained in the law, what is clean is contained in the commandments. That is holy. That is clean and acceptable before the Most High. To go and drink and we rise up and become whoremongers or adulterers is not acceptable with the Most High. Very detested. And if we keep those things that are contained in the law, we will have Peace.